it's like the migrant crisis in the United States. It's not a crisis of one type of individual coming in. The idea is that you want to be able to vet everybody who comes in, from no matter what, whether they're from Guatemala or they're from Syria. You want to find out who the fuck they are. You don't want to let in criminals and psychopaths.
Yeah.
It's all that simple. And if you start, blocking off people's ability to do that, I always have to wonder, like, what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
If you're just trying to let everybody in and not check, are you trying to create chaos? Is that what you want? Because that's what I would do if I was an evil person and I wanted to fuck up an entire civilization. I would just let criminals in. I would encourage criminals to go there. I would release them out of my jails and give them money to go north.
Yeah.
You can just walk across to America. We're going to pay you to do it.
Well, I think you have a lot of people that have that believe in some sort of a moral and ethical code, and they feel like they don't have a place to be sometimes, Well,
there's also some people that grow up and they just got by the world. They just got brought to a real bad spot, and they started off way worse than you and I.
For sure.
And that's the reality of, if you want to keep a healthy society, you have to keep those people out. Like, the world is not fair. It's not fair. And if you want to protect the best aspects of the world, you got to keep them safe. And then spread out that safety from there. It's not let in all the bad. It's spread out the safety. It's like the way to do it isn't to just let all the criminals in and then, now we all live with crime. Like, no, that's stupid. The way to do it is to solve the crime problem in an area and then expand that area ever greater across the world. That is totally doable. That's totally doable. You're never going to stop all crime, but you can minimize it significantly with a concerted effort, which is not being done. They're not doing that. And there's a bunch of different things that they have to do. Instead of just hiring cops to people up, they should train cops better. They should pay them more. They should make them more respected.
Yeah,
I saw make people appreciate cops instead of think of them as the enemy.
I agree. We always thought that cops were reliable, but then I guess some cultures have different experiences with cops. But these days, cops are so diverse that it's like you couldn't have you'd almost have to be a alien or something to have a racial issue. It feels like sometimes, Well,
I think cops are just like all kinds of people. And the problem with all people is they're going to vary. There's going to be some people that can handle pressure and some people that can handle having power and being a boss.
Oh, that's
you've
a
had
good
good
point.
bosses. I've had great bosses who were great guys. They made you happy to work with them. You knew they were the boss, but it was a cool situation. And then you got people that are cunts just because they're bosses. You got this guy that just won't stop talking down to you because he knows he can get away with you because you need the job. He can get away with shitting on you. You've all had that too. And that's the problem with being a cop. Like, some people are just not good at having power over people, and some people are great with it. And then there's the reality of the stress that they face. Every fucking day you might get shot. Every day you're pulling people over. What is the worst thing that's going to happen to you in your day? Oh, did someone open their door on your car? Oh,
did someone whistle at you because you had big tits or whatever?
I saw a 10-year-old get their face shot in.
Yeah.
I saw a little girl get run over by a car. I saw horrible murder scenes. They're going upon car accidents every day. You're seeing so much awful shit. You're dealing with, and then every time you pull somebody over, every cop has seen those videos of people pulling people over and just getting lit with bullets, just fall into the ground. There's so many of those videos. Getting your gun taken away from you, getting shot and killed. Yeah, we've all seen those videos. They're fucking
That's
horrible.
at Walmart everywhere. A lot of that shit. It's like there's just so much violence now.
There's this one where this guy was beating up this female cop, and his daughter was telling him to stop. The daughter was trying to get him to stop beating this cop to death. And you're like, oh my God. So that job is not a normal fucking job, and when people don't have respect for it and don't appreciate it, it's a sign of the sickness of society. It's the illness of society that we don't appreciate law and order, and we think of it as something that somehow or another that it's uniquely oppressive, and that without it being there, you'd have less problems. So there was that was all that defund the police thing. Yeah, which is just, we should have learned from that, and I hope a lot of people did. That's a terrible idea. The problem is not cops. the problem is cops are human, and
Right.
they have to stay human. Otherwise, you're going to get RoboCop.
Oh yeah.
So what are we going to do?
RoboCop could easily get hijacked too. That's another issue. It's like a lot of if there were cyber attacks, like where they wanted every electric vehicle or something to just go drive off a cliff, they could just control
100%.
If they wanted every oven to just heat to 250 degrees and just burn down every house.
Sure.
Like if something got hacked, it'd be very spooky. So yeah, if cops got hacked, bro, that would be crazy. And then also they could just say they hacked like you could have a dirty entity hack the cops and use them for whatever they want. And then who do you even sue at that? What are you going to even, they're not even people. You're going to put a robot on the stand?
Well, you would have to know what kind of like hacking is even possible and whether or not it can be detected. Because if they're doing it wirelessly, like can they do it like Jamie, you would probably know this. Can you hack something wirelessly from an anonymous account and like get into a system and no one knows who did it? Or is everything ultimately traceable if they could find the source of the invasion?
When you get to that high level stuff, they're going the hacker, like the person doing the attack, goes through so many levels to try to hide where they're going from.
Yeah. So they can hide somewhat. Yeah. And also, how many of those guys that are like operating at that level even exist?
Yeah.
How many of those like super high level hackers are out there? And everybody else is just kind of at the mercy. Like if you try understanding that, if you don't do that,
no, it's impossible.
So how is a judge going to understand it? Who's going to understand it?
Yeah.
How are the cops going to understand it?
Right. It's kind of, it's got to be weird. If you know that much stuff, you're kind of in a world of your own.
Oh, yeah. If you're like a super Bitcoin creator type dude, you're in a world of your own. You're existing in the most sophisticated layers of the technological power of the likes the world's never seen before. Never seen anything like it. And you're the people that are at the head of the code. You're the people that are making AI.
Yeah, you're like Christopher Columbus or whatever. You're on the
Christopher Columbus
you're on the
great.
edge.
Bro, that's great.
Dude, that's why I've said this for years. People with autism are the link between regular people and machines. That's where we're headed. In 2 generations, everyone will have autism. You won't be able to find anybody that doesn't have it or that doesn't kind of freak out if like somebody's like whistling or whatever.
It's almost like whatever the reason why more people have autism today. I'm sure there's a bunch of people that think it's vaccines. There's a bunch of people that think it's environmental issues. There's a bunch of people that think it's
Chick-fil-A. Some people probably
could be.